Welcome to God Chosen Cosmic Melodies. I hope everybody's doing well, because I am. And if you have not been drinking your water, you better go chop and go get you some water while you watch my video. It's gonna be another one out of this world vibes going on in my headquarters. We are in the headquarters. It's here. ET phone home. We're gonna read a page out of the book Untethered Soul: The Journey Beyond Yourself. The cover is kind of dirty, but the book is fabulous. So we're gonna read chapter 11, Pain, the Price of Freedom. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. You can tell already, so I'm gonna give it a ding that it deserves. And a bing, a ding and a bing, and a ding and a bing. Okay, so one of the essential requirements for true spiritual growth and deep personal transformation is coming to peace with pain. Yeah, I can really relate to that. I'm sure most people can. And if you would like to leave any comments about that, do so. No expansion or evolution can take place without change. And periods of change are not always comfortable. Change involves challenging what is familiar to us and dating to question our traditional needs for safety, comfort, and control. This is often perceived as painful experience. Yeah, when like our safety, through transition, your safety zone, it changes, and your comfort zone changes, and your control over things changes. So within those changes of safety, comfort, and control, it can be perceived as painful sometimes, a painful experience when you feel like you're losing control. It happens to the best of us. Becoming familiar with this pain is part of your growth. Even though you may not actually like the feeling of inner disturbance, you must be able to sit quietly inside and face them if you want to see where they come from. Once you can face your disturbances, you will realize that there is a layer of pain seated deep in the core of your heart. This pain is so uncomfortable, so challenging, and so destructive to the individual self that your entire life is spent avoiding it. Yeah, this is like the issue with the whole world. Not the whole world, but a big percentage of the world, because they're not choosing to sit with their pain. Instead, most of our lives, we avoid it because it hurts. Nobody wants to feel that. I understand, but this is why this chapter is so helpful. And I didn't predetermine what I was going to read. I just opened it up. It's like, instead of tarot, it's like listening to whatever the guidance that wants to be spoken, and this page is where I stopped, and it's chapter 11. The number 11 is significant, and this ties into a lot of things that I've been talking about recently. So your entire personality is built upon ways of being, thinking, acting, and believing that were developed to avoid this pain. I hear that. This is what we need to undo. We need to shift into the vibration of like allowing ourselves to go through the process of like figuring out why we think the way that we think, why we behave the way that we behave, why we believe what we believe, and break it down for ourselves so that we can stop avoiding the pain that we need to feel in order to expand into our higher selves. Since avoiding the pain prohibits you from exploring the parts of your being that is beyond that layer, real growth takes place when you finally decide to deal with the pain, because the pain is at the core of the heart. It radiates out and affects everything you do, but this pain is not the physical pain that you realize as messages from your body. Physical pain is only there when something is psychologically wrong. Inner pain is always there, underneath, hidden by the layers of our thoughts and our emotions. We feel it most when our hearts go into turmoil. Yeah, I feel like I could really resonate to this part when it comes to the dark night of the soul. And I've gone through plenty of those, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. So we feel it most when our heart is going through turmoil, like when the world does not meet our expectations. This is an inner psychological pain. The psyche is built. Sorry guys, I'm like sucking on the halls again. Because I notice when I'm talking, okay, sucking on the halls while you're trying to talk is not helpful, but it is helpful so my throat doesn't dry out. Because the last couple of videos I was like having some throat like roughness. So the halls is the solution. The psyche is built upon avoiding this pain, and as a result, it has fear of pain as its foundation. That it was caused the psyche. Wait, that it what? Oh, is. Oh my lord. That is what caused the psyche to be. understand this, notice that if the feeling of rejection is a major problem for you, you will fear experiences that cause rejection. That fear will become part of your psyche. Even though the actual event causing rejection are infrequent, you will have to deal with the fear of rejection all the time. That is how we created pain that is always there. If you are doing something to avoid pain, then pain is running your inner life, your life. All of your thoughts and feelings will be affected by your fears. That makes perfect sense. It's easy to say, like, oh, just confront your fears. And then it's like a whole process to actually do it. I remember one time we were like, me and my sibling, we were on the mode of like, let's go on a trip. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to face all of my fears. And one of my fears was to be in a situation on a trip where, what would you do if circumstances were not going the way you planned? How would you handle it? You could say what you would do, but you don't actually know until you're in a situation like that. So I ended up actually being in a situation like that, and it was perfect timing to face those fears. And we did just that. It was a wild trip and things went wrong. But the magical part is that I got to face a lot of fears, and most people would be scared to face their fears, but I, on the other hand, was like, I want to face my fears. And you know what, be careful what you ask for, because I got just that. And it was, it was scary sometimes, but overall it was really like a growing thing. I learned a lot about myself in that trip. Like, you really don't know your strengths until you are put in a spot where you have to see what you're really made of, and yeah, so facing fears is like my forte. You will come to see what any behavior pattern based upon the avoidance of pain becomes a doorway to the pain itself. If you are afraid of being rejected by someone and you approach that person with intention of winning their acceptance, you are skating on thin ice. All they have to do is look at you sideways or say something, and you will feel the pain of rejection. The bottom line is that since you approach them in the name of rejection, you're going to be dancing on the edge of rejection. Makes perfect sense. Throughout the interaction, one way or another, the feelings you experience will work their way back to the motive behind your actions. The avoidance of pain is what your actions are linked to, and you will feel that link in your heart. Remember, because our heart is it's the center of all of our energy centers. Our heart is the most powerful thing out of our whole energetic system. That's why, okay, on my Instagram page there is one of the stories, and it says, this really stuck with me, it will stick with me forever, but I feel like humanity has mishandled grief like really bad, and so that's why people are avoidant to feeling the pain, when it comes to the pain in the heart, because we mishandle grief. And grief is in so many different layers. We can be grieving even small things. Grieving is not just loss in life. Grieving is also grieving like back when you were in grammar school, you lost your best friend or something. Not like lost them to death, but like the friend moved away, and as a kid you felt a loss. And so grieving could be like small, medium, large, but to each person a small thing could mean like it's a big thing to them. Grieving varies from person to person, and it does not always involve death. Grieving is so many different layers. And so yeah, when we avoid the pain, we're mishandling our grieving process. The heart is where pain comes from. Oh my god, I'm so done with sucking on this because it's like interrupting the way that I read. Just 1 second, guys. I really should have finished it before, but like I said, I just felt like the halls would help me. But now it's getting in the way. I'm just trying to get it to melt faster. Okay. The heart is where pain comes from, and this is why you feel so many disturbances as you go through the day. You have this core of pain deep in your heart. Your personality traits and behavior patterns are all about avoiding this pain. You avoid it by keeping your weight a certain way, wearing certain clothes, talking a certain way, and choosing certain hairstyles. Does this hairstyle say something about me? Oh my god, so what we wear, how we talk, and how we choose to do our hair, it says a lot about what we can be avoiding. Not always, but yeah, sometimes I would agree with that. Everything you do is about the avoidance of this pain. If you want to validate this, just see what happens if someone mentions your weight or criticizes your clothes. You feel pain. Yeah, because I used to have a body dysmorphia, and I thought I was like bigger than I was, and my mom would say, you're too skinny, you're disappearing, and it would hurt my feelings. But now I understand. Every time you do I don't have body dysmorphia anymore, by the way. Every time you do something in the name of avoiding pain, that something becomes a link that holds the potential for the pain you're avoiding. Wait, let me read that again. Every time you do something in the name of avoiding pain. Oh, so if you're doing something like drinking or drugs or yeah, like it said, the examples it gave, like the way that you talk and the way that you are, It could be linked to the pain that you're avoiding. This makes perfect sense. I love this book. This one has always been really helpful to me too. If you do not want to, I haven't read this one fully, and I haven't got to this chapter yet either. So we're learning together. But these things, I feel like they are common sense, but it's really helpful to read books that break it down, even if we feel like we know this information already. These kind of books are really important for humanity. If you do not want to deal with the pain at its core, then what you do to avoid it had better work. If you are hiding yourself in a busy social life, then anything anyone does that challenges your self-esteem, such as not inviting you to an event, will cause you to feel pain. Let's say you call a friend to go see a movie and they say they're busy. Some people will feel hurt by that. You will feel pain if the reason you called them was the avoidance of pain. Let's say you go outside and you call your dog, hey Spot, come here, and he doesn't come. If the reason you're calling Spot was to feel him, you'd just put the bowl, the reason why you're calling Spot was to feed him. you just put the bowl down and let him eat when he wants. But if you called Spot because you find it hard, you had a hard day and Spot didn't come, you would feel pain. Even the dog doesn't like me. I'm sorry, why am I laughing at that? Oh my god. See, I know you can relate to this. not that you can relate, but I feel like you would be laughing with me, okay? Even the dog doesn't like me. Why would there be a heartfelt pain in the dog not coming? Why would there be pain in a friend saying they are going someplace and they, oh my god, my reading is a little choppy today, sorry about that guys, but I'm gonna keep pushing through, okay? So, and they can't go to the movie today. How does that generate pain? It is because deep inside there is a pain that you have not processed. Your attempt to avoid this pain has created layers upon layers of sensitivity that are all linked to the hidden pain. Let's take a moment to see how these layers build up in order to avoid the pain of rejection. You work hard to maintain friendships. Since you've seen that it is possible to get rejected, even by friends, you are going to work harder and harder to avoid it. To succeed, you have to be sure everything you do is acceptable to others. This determines how you dress and how you act. Notice you're no longer focused directly on rejection. I'm so over rejection. I don't even care. I just love, and I love myself, and I love people. Anyways, let me focus. So now it's about your clothes, how you walk, or what you drive. You've gone another layer further away from the core pain. If somebody comes up to you and says, wow, I thought you would avoid a nicer car. Avoid. Oh my god. I thought you could afford a nicer car than that. Rude. you feel a disturbing rejection. How could that cause pain? What's the big deal if somebody says something about your car? If you have to ask yourself what it is that reacted in your heart, what is that feeling? Why is that happening? People don't normally ask why. They just try to keep it from happening. You must go deeper than that and look at the dynamics of the layers that have been created. At the core, there is the pain. Then, in order to avoid the pain, you try to stay busy with friends and hide in their acceptance. That is the first layer out. Then, in order to assure your acceptance, you try to present yourself a certain way so that you can win friends and influence people. This is another layer out. Each layer is attached to the original, which is the pain that you were trying to avoid. This is why simple everyday interactions can affect you so much. If the core pain was not the motivation behind proving yourself each day, what people say would not affect you. This is the place that I've gotten to. And it's taken some time, but I haven't even got to this part of the book, but in my personal journey, I've gotten to this place of like awareness of like, okay, whatever anybody thinks of me, it's like not me, and it's not like, even if people reject me, it says more about them than it does about me, because I accept myself, I love myself, and I've gotten to the bottom of my pain. And I've had a lot of layers to get through. It's a process, guys. You're not alone. Just remember that we have God and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, like the connection, as so within, so without. So whatever like pain that you need to feel so that you don't constantly like do things to hurt yourself because you're avoiding it, like it's saying in this book, all these random interactions that will cause that pain to resurface, and then you would try to avoid those things so you don't feel the pain. And it's just like a repetitive cycle. It's just better off to go through it. Stop trying to go around the bush and sit in the bush. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, because it is liberating. once you get to the place of like really having gone through the process of, asking the whys, and then getting to the bottom of the question of the why, sitting with the pain. This is why I'm even so compassionate to other people's pain and why they bully people or their low vibrational ways. I'm like, okay, why is this person doing this? And then I get to the bottom of it, I'm like, oh, really, it boils down to everybody got some pain that they're avoiding. Hello. Do we all have this? Oh no, I lost the page, but wait, it was chapter 11. So yeah, we all have this in common. So it's like better for us to really get to the bottom of these different layers of avoidance, because then we're going to be better off, man. Okay, so Da, 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 da. So, but since avoiding the core pain is why you're trying to avoid yourself, you end up bringing the potential for pain into everything that happens. You end up so sensitive that you are unable to live in this world. Oh no, I am like an empath, and what do you think? What do they call Yoko? I don't know. I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it wrong. But I'm extremely sensitive individual. Most of my life, I really did not understand this superpower that I have. It used to be like, people are like, you're too sensitive. And it's like, there's no such thing as too sensitive. This is a superpower to have. Like, it's good to be sensitive, to be able to know what you're feeling. And others are feeling without them telling you, because then you know how to better take care of other people. This is why I do caregiving, because I innately know like how to take care of people because of the superpower that I have. So you end up, but there it does come to a point where you don't want to be like overly sensitive. You want to be sensitive to other people's feelings because that's good, that's healthy, but not overly sensitive because of unresolved pain. So don't get me wrong, okay? We don't want people being excessively too much out of control sensitive, because then you're not gonna make it through this world. There's a lot of harsh realities that we gotta get through in this life. So being a little too sensitive is not gonna be helpful to these harsh realities, is what I realize. Anyways, if you watch carefully, you will see that even simple interactions often cause some degree of pain, insecurity, or general disturbances, unless you've dealt with the pain. Anytime I experience interactions that bring up insecurity or general disturbance, I always take it as an opportunity to look deeper. So I figure out more about myself, and I make sure to not repeat that pattern of like trying to avoid the pain. And so just keep that in mind. Whatever degree of pain, insecurity, or general disturbances that come up, it is an opportunity for more growth within us. So yeah, we don't want to run away from the pain. We want to look it right in the eyes and say, what's going on, huh? What's going on? And then we sit with it and we break it down to ourselves. We have our little therapy session with God. To get some distance from this, you first need to get some perspective. Walk outside on a clear night or day and just look up into the sky. You are sitting on a planet spinning around in the middle of absolute nowhere. Think about that. Like, you see, look it up there. A planet, we're on this planet and it's spinning on an axis, like, and it's like in a perfect order within chaos in the solar system. Like, there's perfect order, and like, this is incredible. Just think about that when you're just consumed by the pain you're trying to avoid. Like, this is magical. This is a miracle that we're here. It's a great time to be alive. I'm so thankful. You are sitting on a planet that's spinning. Okay, though you can only see a few thousand stars, there are hundreds and billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy alone. In fact, it is estimated that there are over 1 trillion stars in the spiral galaxy, and that galaxy would look like one star to us. Wow. If we could even see it. You're just standing on one little ball of dirt and spinning around one of the stars from that perspective. Do you really care what people think about your clothes or your car? No, I don't. Do you really need to feel embarrassed if you forget someone's name? No, you don't. How can you let these meaningless things cause pain? If you want out, if you want a decent life, a free life, a happy life, I added those things in. You had better not devote your life to avoiding psychological pain. Oh, boom, drop a bomb. Yeah, that's where it's at. This is where it's at, people. Let's not avoid psychological pain, because listen, it's a miracle that we are here, and life is too short for the nonsense. Like, you better confront yourself sooner than later and do it on the daily, because the more consistent we are in that, we're gonna find a whole other level of liberation, and we deserve that. You deserve that. I deserve that. Everybody in the world deserves that kind of freedom. So we must face our psychological pain, because it starts there. When it's everything, like, think about it, our whole life is in our head. So that's the reason why it's so important to get this right, and everything else will follow. Also another thing is get right with God. Get right with God. Get this right, and get this right with God, and everything else will follow. You had better not spend your life worrying about whether people like you or whether your car impresses people. What kind of life is that? It is a life of pain. You may not think that you feel pain that often, but you really do. To spend your life avoiding pain means it's always right behind you. Oh my God, it's like a shadow that's gonna follow you everywhere. Who wants that? Nobody. And if you say yes to that, you need God. At any point, you could slip and say the wrong thing. At any point, anything can happen. This is exactly why I choose to be of a loving nature, because I do live by that. I've already almost died 4 times. And I know life is too short for the nonsense. At any point, anything can happen to any one of us. And this is why it's important to be a good person and a loving person, and don't avoid your pain. Feel it, so you could be, instead of a shadow of pain following you, it's your shadow of love. I know that sounds funny, shadow of love, but because everybody got a shadow. When you're in the sun and you look down, there's a shadow, okay? But when you confront your shadow, it's not bad anymore, okay? You turn it into love. So you end up devoting your life to the avoidance of pain. Basically, this is what most of the world has done unintentionally, majority of the time, because of lack of awareness and just just you haven't put the effort to do this inner work, because the inner work is not going to do itself. Okay, if that was the case, then books like this wouldn't exist. Okay, we need to learn, get the awareness we need, learn the steps to do the inner work, because again, the inner work is not going to do itself. We can't I was going to say something funny, but let me stop there. Once you look inside yourself and start to own this, you will see that you are back to the same two foundational choices. One choice is to leave the pain inside and continue to struggle with the outside. The other choice is to decide that you don't want to spend your entire life avoiding the inner pain. You'd rather get rid of it. Few people ever dare to turn the process inside like this. It is so true. I find that a lot. Like when I'm like wondering why don't other people experience like the level of happiness that I experience? And I'm not saying that from the ego. It is true. I'm just like, why aren't other people more happy? And this is one of the reasons, is because I have gone through this inner process time and time again, you know, because it just because you've done it once in your life, it doesn't mean that other things will not come up later down the line. That's natural. You know, that's why you experience more than one dark night of the soul. It's all about growth. And so every time that has come up for me, this is how I become a pro at getting over the dark nights of the soul. This is one of the tools that's been helpful to me. And I didn't even read this part of the book yet, but I have learned this, I think, in other books. Like Waking Up in 5D does bring up something like this, similar to this, but in its own way. Because that other book is from Maureen St. Germain, and this one is Michael A. Singer. So yeah, they say they word it differently, but it is getting to the same point. Similar point. So don't avoid your pain. Few people ever dare to turn the process inside like this. Most people don't even realize that they are running around with pockets of pain inside that need to be worked out. Do you really want to carry that inside and have to manipulate the world to avoid feeling it? This is what happened with the people who came for me. I realized they're just like kids that are still hurt and they still haven't healed themselves, and that's why they bullied me. Rude. It's not my fault. They didn't want to go through the healing process, and they still have to, unfortunately and fortunately, because there's no way around it. Like God will slap you around, or not God, not God. The universe will slap you around and let you know, or the dark forces that people conjure up will slap them around and beat them up until they realize that they can't avoid this. Because they're trying to manipulate the world, whether that's from black magic or just being a liar and a manipulator. Like people manipulate because of this. There's something that they're avoiding, so they feel the only way to get their way is to manipulate. But no, that is karmic. And if you could just get to the bottom of the pain, you won't feel the need to manipulate anybody, and then you'll be in a higher vibrational timeline time and time again, and you will get your way in a non-karmic way, because the universe will provide it to you based on the frequency that you're in, because you healed that pain that you were avoiding. What would your life be like if it wasn't run by that pain? You would be free. Hello, you could walk around this world completely free, just having fun. This is why, like, I feel like sometimes when people are not happy and they see my happiness, they're like, sometimes I think people assume that it's not real happiness. It's just like, how can somebody be that happy? Because maybe they haven't experienced that level of happiness. But like, really, you can just walk around in the world feeling free and fun and happy, like to the depths of you. And it's, in all honesty, it's not just like putting on a face of happiness, but like really you're happy. Just being comfortable with whatever happens. You can usually live a life full of interesting experiences and just enjoy these experiences wherever they are. In essence, you can simply live your life and experience what it's like to be on a planet that is spinning around in the middle of nowhere until you die. Oh yeah, woohoo! We made it! This is what you call heaven on earth, people. When you stop avoiding your pain and you feel it, so you can find those deeper inner levels of freedom that you won't experience until you confront that pain. And not confront it, but like, sit with it, figure out why, where it's coming from, go through the constructive breakdown and rebuilding of healing that pain on a whole other level. To live at this level of freedom, you must learn not to be afraid of inner pain and disturbance. As long as you are afraid of the pain, you will try to protect yourself from it. The fear, most of my life, I tried to protect myself from the pain, and I was like, done. I was like, I don't want to avoid this anymore. I just want to let myself feel it. And that's when, that's what you call a dark night of the soul. When you are in the depths of despair, you're like, you got that whole ugly cry going and everything. And yeah, I've had several of those. Enough of those to know. As long as you are afraid of the fear will make you do that. If you want to be free, simply view inner pain as a temporary shift in your energy flow. Yes, that is key. If you want to free yourself, you simply view inner pain as a temporary shift in your energy flow. There is no reason to fear this experience. You must not be afraid of rejection or of how you would feel if you got sick or if someone died or if something else went wrong. You cannot spend your life avoiding these things that are not actually happening, or everything will become negative. All you will end up seeing is how much can potentially go wrong. Do you have any idea how many things can cause inner pain and disturbance? Yeah, I have an idea. I know, I'm well aware. There's a lot that could go wrong. Oh well. And what I focus on, literally, I live by this motto. I don't have problems. I have what? I have solutions. I have solutions, solutions for all sorts of whatever it is. I don't even focus on the issue. I always focus on all the solutions that can come about and all the growth that can come about for whatever issue it is. You know, for every problem, there's a million solutions. That's what I live by. And I will live by that for the rest of my life. And I coined this term, and it's a catchy one because I hear other people saying it and doing their best to embody it too. My family members too, but like also people on the world that I've shared this to, when they bring up a problem, I'm like, oh, so it sounds like you have a problem. Well, there's a million other solutions. There's a solution for every problem. So like the motto is, I don't have problems. I have what? Solutions. You cannot spend your life avoiding the myriad things that might hurt your heart or mind. Yeah, you can't avoid it. Like whatever it is, just know you got the strength to face whatever it is, especially when you're one in God. You can overcome anything. That's why I'm not scared of anything. You must look inside yourself and determine that from now on, pain is not a problem. No, it's not a problem whatsoever. Because why? For every problem, you have a solution. It is just a thing in the universe. Somebody can say something to you that can cause your heart to react and catch fire, but then it passes. It's a temporary experience. Most people can hardly imagine what it would be like to be at peace with inner disturbance. But like this is why I'm always at peace, regardless of like whatever it is. Sometimes I catch myself stressing out, and I'm like, okay, I'm over it, because I already know like it's just a thing to pass through. Like, okay, focus on the peace and love, because that's more powerful. God is more powerful than any low vibrations of this world, guaranteed. If you do not learn to be comfortable with it, you will devote your life to avoiding it. Yeah. I feel like I've mastered this part of life. Like, I don't avoid the things. I'm not spiritual bypassing. I deal with it the way that I need to deal with it, and constructively break it down and evolve myself through those things. But even as I'm evolving myself through those things, I already see the end result. As there's this Insta page, it's called Awakened Within, and his content, he's always saying like, and so it is, because he's focusing on the end result of what it already is. And that's super powerful. If we can embody that time and time again, you know, whatever comes up, you know, don't avoid it, go through the process, you know, but as we go through the process, focus on the end result of it already. It's going to, because you know, once you go through the process, what's the result? It's going to be in a healed place, guaranteed. It's just a part of creation. If you feel jealousy and your heart burns, just look at it objectively, like you would a mild bruise. It's gonna go away eventually. It's a thing in the universe that is passing through your system. Laugh at it. This is why literally when I'm mad, sometimes people really misunderstand me when it comes to this. When I'm mad, I don't want to be mad. I know life's too short for that. Of course, sometimes you really do have to let yourself feel the anger and speak out in that vibration, because you're standing up for yourself. But for the most part, I don't ever let myself stay stuck in that feeling, and I literally just laugh it out. Like sometimes an absurd laugh will come up, because I'm just like, oh my god, seriously, the universe or lower vibrations in this realm trying to trick me into a timeline I don't belong in, and I just laugh at it, like, because I'm like, ridiculous. And then I have fun with it. But then don't be afraid of it. It cannot touch you unless you touch it. So yeah, don't stay stuck in that low vibrations, because you don't belong in those low vibrations. Focus on the end result, which is peace, love, and harmony, where God wants us to be, the God frequency and the 5D frequency, being in integrity with your mind, body, and soul, the way you choose to think, feel, action, and reaction, cause and effect, is in alignment with integrity to yourself. When you have integrity for yourself and you live to that standard, that's where it's at. Let's explore this by looking at a basic human tendency. When something painful touches your body, you tend to pull away instinctively. You even do this with unpleasant smells and tastes. The fact is, your psyche does the same thing. If something disturbing touches it, its tendency is to withdraw, to pull back, and to protect itself. You know, I feel like instinctive for sure. It does this with insecurity, jealousy, and any of other vibrations we've been discussing. In essence, you close, which is simply an attempt to put a shield around your inner energy. You can feel the effects of this as the sensation of contracting within your heart. Somebody says something displeasing and you feel some disturbance in your heart. Then your mind starts talking. I don't have to put up with this. I'll just walk away and never talk to them again. They'll be sorry. Your heart is attempting to pull back from what it's experiencing and protect itself so that it doesn't have to experience that feeling again. You do this because you can't handle the pain you're feeling. As long as you can't handle the pain, you will react by closing in order to protect yourself. Once you close, your mind will build an entire psychological structure around your closed energy. Your thoughts will try to rationalize why you're right, why the other person's wrong, and what you should do about it. If you buy into this, it will become a part of you. For years, the pain will remain inside and actually become one of the building blocks of your entire life. It will shape your future reactions, thoughts, and preferences when you deal with a situation by resisting the pain it causes. Oh, so every time we have these situations come up, it's really important. I feel like I am perfecting this, because I feel like everybody can relate how you would just rather walk away from something instead of like facing it, because because you're avoiding to feel that pain. Who wants to feel pain? Nobody wants to feel pain. But if in order for us to not feel pain in the long term, we have to be willing to feel the pain sooner than later, so it doesn't drag out into the rest of our lives, for the love of God. So when you deal with the situation by resisting the pain it causes, you will have to adjust your behavior and thoughts in order to protect yourself. You will have to do this so that nothing aggravates what you have held inside about the incident. You will end up building an entire protection structure around the closure. If you have the clarity to watch this happen and understand the long-term consequences, you will want to be free of this trap. You will never be free, however, until you get to the point where you are willing to release the initial pain instead of avoiding it. You must learn to transcend the tendency to avoid pain. Yeah. We have to stop avoiding our pain. This is the cure of the world, guys. This is what I see for our future on a global scale. People are choosing to not avoid their pain anymore and face it in a constructive way. Wise beings do not want to remain a slave to the fear of pain. Oh, I hear that. They permit the world to be what it is inside of being afraid of it. Oh my God, sorry. They permit the world to be what it is instead of being afraid of it. They wholeheartedly participate in life, but not for the purpose of using life to avoid themselves. If life does something that causes a disturbance inside of you, instead of pulling away, let it pass through you like the wind. Oh yeah, like the wind. After all, things happen every day that causes inner disturbance. After all, yeah, every day things are happening, people, that can disturb us. Yeah, whatever. It's a natural part of life. At any moment, you can feel frustration, anger, fear, jealousy, insecurity, or embarrassment. If you watch, you will see that the heart is trying to push it all away. If you want to be free, though, you have to learn to stop fighting these human feelings. I love feelings. I love to feel, especially in a constructive way. When you feel pain, simply view it as energy. Just start seeing these inner experiences as energy passing through your heart and before the eye of your consciousness. Then relax. Do the opposite of contracting and closing. Relax and release. Yes, relax and feel it out and release it. Let it go. It's not yours. I will constantly tell people when they're going through something, I'm like, it's not yours. It's not yours. Let it go. Just let it go. It's not yours. Oh my God. So guys, I didn't realize when I had the book up, I was closing my face. Sorry about that. Anyways, I'm feeling myself today. And no, okay, relax and release. Relax your heart until you are actually face to face with the exact place where it hurts. Stay open and receptive so you can be present right there, right where the tension is. You must be willing to be present right at the place of the tightness and the pain, and then relax and go even deeper. This is very deep growth and transformation, but you will not want to do this. You will feel tremendous resistance to doing this, and that's what makes it so powerful. As you relax and feel the resistance, the heart will want to pull away, to close, to protect, and to defend itself. Keep relaxing. Relax your shoulders and relax your heart. Let go and give room for the pain to pass through you. It's just energy. Just see it as energy and let it go. If you close around the pain and stop it from passing through, it will stay in you and get stuck. And nobody wants that. That's why people become bitter and scorn, because they held on to the pain. This is why our natural tendency is to resist. It's so counterproductive. If you don't want the pain, why do you close around it and keep it? Do you actually think that if you resist it, it will go away? It's not true. If you release and let the energy pass through, then it will go away. If you relax when the pain comes up inside your heart and actually dare to face it, it will pass. Every single time you relax and release, a piece of the pain leaves forever. Yes, oh my God, it is so liberating. It is so liberating, truly. Yet, every time you resist and close, you are building up the pain inside even more. It's like damming up a stream. If you are then forced to use the psyche to create a layer of distance between you, who experiences the pain, and the pain itself, that is what all the noise inside your mind is attempting to avoid, the stored up pain. If you want to be free, you must first accept that there is pain in your heart. Yeah, the saying is like, the first step to sobriety is admitting you have a problem. So like the first step to healing your pain is admitting that you have pain inside and you accept it. Okay, you have pain that you need to heal. It's like nothing, to be ashamed about. This is common for everybody on the face of the planet, no matter what financial bracket they're in, whatever their background is. Maybe even people who came from a good upbringing and stuff, they still got pain too. Everybody got pain in one way or another. You have stored in there that needs to be released, and you've done everything you can to think of to keep it there deep inside so that you never feel it. There is also tremendous joy, beauty, love, and peace within you. Did you ever think about that? Yeah, that's what I focus on. But even though I focus on those higher vibrational things, I am not spiritual bypassing. I know what it's like to sit with pain. I am very skilled at this. And this book, I can't believe I haven't read this sooner. This chapter is chapter 11. I haven't reached chapter 11, but guess I am now with you guys. So if you want to be free, you got to feel that pain. You must be willing to accept pain in order to pass through to the other side. Just accept that it is there and that you are going to feel it. Accept that if you relax, it will have its moment before your awareness, and then it will pass. It always does. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. So this is the core of spiritual work. When you are comfortable with pain passing through you, you will be free. This world will never be able to bother you again. People in this world will never be able to bother me or disturb me ever again in my life. The way that it did when I didn't know this, like I'm telling you, this is the first time I read this chapter, honest to God. But I have been putting this in practice, so I can say from personal experience, this is facts on facts, people. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to believe the book. You don't have to. That's fine. Go through the process and you'll see for yourself. When you are comfortable with pain passing through you, you will be free. This world will never be able to bother you or people in it for that matter, because the worst the world can do is hit the pain stored within you. But once you heal that pain, what are they going to do? Try to cause more pain? Okay, well then you'll heal that pain too. Like the whole process is to face the pain time and time and time again, so that you unlock deeper and higher levels of freedom. You will then be able to walk through the world more vibrant and alive more than ever before. You will feel everything at a deep level. This is why, no, seriously, I feel life so viscerally now. I feel more freer than I've ever been in my whole entire life, and that's incredible. You know, usually you'd say that you felt free as a child, but no, my inner child feels more happier today than I've ever been in my whole entire life. You will begin to have truly beautiful experiences rise up within. Eventually you will understand that there is an ocean of love. This is why I made in one of my shorts, I'm like, oh, we're in an ocean of blessings on blessings. Because that's what I felt inside. And again, I haven't even read this part of the book. I was just feeling that. So this is awesome. Eventually you understand that there's an ocean of love behind all of this fear and pain. That force will sustain you by feeding your heart. Yeah, you gotta feed that soul and feed your heart daily from deep within. Over time, you will form an intensive personal relationship with this beautiful inner force. Basically, for me, how I did this without reading this book is getting real with God, getting real with myself, and getting real with God. And God guided me, without having read this part of the book, God guided me to release. And so I allowed myself to feel those feelings. You know, it was, again, I was having like ugly cries, you know, when your face doesn't look that pretty and you're just crying profusely. Because I knew, my soul innately knew, you know, I was just following God's guidance. And then I came to this place where I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I feel a profound sense of love, deeper than I've ever felt before, because of like purging. Yeah, purging that pain, purge that pain, purge it. Over time, you will form an intensely personal relationship with this beautiful inner force, which for me, it's God. It will replace the relationship you currently have with inner pain and disturbance. Now, peace and love will run your life. When you pass beyond the layer of pain, you will finally be free from the binds of the psyche. Remember, the whole issue with life is a psychological issue. People got psychological problems, like big time. And one of the components to those psychological problems is avoiding their pain. So I'll stop there, but basically, you guys, I literally read a whole chapter. I didn't mean to read this whole chapter because it was just like, my soul was like, no, don't stop there, just keep going, because you gotta keep going. So I did. Yeah. This one's called Pain, the Price of Freedom. Oh, that was beautiful. This book basically just described the chapter in life that I just overcame, like with all those spiritual attacks and everything. And I didn't even read this part of the book. Like, honest to God, God knows my heart. I'm not lying. I didn't even read this part of the book. God guided me through that process of what I just read, which is like mind blowing. Like, and then I read it like after I'm already done with the process. It feels like a state of completion, basically. Like the universe was, I opened randomly to that page, right? And then it's describing everything I've already overcome. And I could put it in my own words, but I feel like that it worded it just perfectly. And yeah, so if you want to feel that kind of liberation, the vibration you see exuding out of me when you see me happy in my videos, it is because I've gone through the inner process, and not just once, several times in my life. I have chosen to go through the purging process and really, you know, figure out why, where's the pain coming from, all the whys, why, oh, why me? Oh, woe is me. You know, like, you know, usually when you're asking the why me, you're in the victim state. You know, unintentionally, a lot of the times I felt like a victim, but we're not victims, people. All of this is meant for us to find deeper liberation that we wouldn't be able to find if we didn't go through the process. So like this thing right here, if you can see, this is amazing, because you see it's like holographic, and this is like the reality we live in. So when you're tuning into the pain inside of you, remember your auric field, we live in a holographic universe. Even though this is like solid, right? We're in third density. It's realer than real. Obviously, the way we see in our eyes, we don't see it as a hologram because we're in the third density. But the fact is, we are in a simulation. We are in a third density holographic matrix simulation. This is how the levels of control that they have come to do over the masses, it's possible because of that we live in a third density holographic matrix simulation. So when we know this and we go through our inner process of healing, there's a whole other level that you unlock of healing when you're tuning into this aspect of life, this truth of life, whether you believe it or not. It's extremely helpful to unlocking deeper levels of healing, along with knowledge of like what I read out the book and stuff. But when you apply that knowledge and you envision your inner world, your auric field, I don't know if you could see, your inner world, envision yourself like a holographic energy field. Go to my Instagram page so you know what I'm talking about. And you anchor down higher frequencies. You allow yourself to feel the pain and you purge it out. It's not yours. It's not yours to keep. Don't let it stay trapped up in your system, because then you'll have blockages and then the pain gets stuck there, and the higher energy, God source energy, can't flow more fluidly through you. And then you stay trapped in a lower density and a lower vibrations, which is what the system and elite people that want to enslave the masses, that's what they want, for us to stay entrapped in a lower vibrational wavelength, a dense energy, because of these blockages, because people are avoiding to feel their pain. This is a component to waking up to the higher dimensional states of reality. So tune into that. These are the basics, okay? I'm giving you all the basics. There's so much more to it because life is so complex, but I have a gift of simplifying it. And, obviously people who write these kind of books also know how to simplify these things. So when we simplify it, it doesn't have to be complicated, okay? Even through the complex things, it is very straightforward, okay? So the previous video, I talk about living in integrity. So if you are going to live in integrity, you also have to go through this process first. It's unlocking the pain, purging the pain, so that you don't feel like you have to manipulate people and situations because you're avoiding pain. And when you purge the pain and you're no longer feeling the need to manipulate people and situations to get your way, you're going to be more in alignment with integrity, which means you're being in the 5D timeline of reality, which is the ideal. And of course, we are 24 dimensional beings. That's a whole other level, but we're going to keep it down here on Earth for now. Sometimes some things are so far out that it's like come back down to Earth, because that's where we're at. We're on the Earth planet spaceship. Anyway, so you guys get the point. Purge that pain, feel it, figure out where it's coming from, because you can't just like, oh, okay, cry for no reason. You don't even know why you're crying. Okay, figure out why, where it hurts, why it hurts. Those things matter. And then once you figure out why, you're like, oh, it's not mine. Oh my God. Because when you figure out why, you're going to evolve yourself more. This is really important. And this is why I'm like wise beyond my years, because I have chosen to like continuously purge things, figure out, get to the bottom of why, you get the point. I've said this a couple different ways already in this video. This was a good one. I love this one so much. That was super constructive and very cohesive to the previous video that I just made. And I didn't even pre-plan this, guys. It literally just went with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Oh yeah, I feel so good. I feel so happy. I hope you guys feel that good energy. God bless you all. Make sure you pray over your possessions, your goals, your pets, your friends, your family, humanity, and the planet itself. Because, as I say always, your prayers count and they do make a difference. And every incremental change within you creates healing in the quantum field, rippled out for other people to pick up that healing energy. So, remember, you have so much more power than we were ever taught. So, tune into that power. Heal yourself. Why don't ya? So you can find deeper levels of liberation. I will talk to you in the next video.